Everyone, welcome back to Y'all Be Good. I'm hanging out with
Heather,
and I'm Ralph. This week, as promised from last week, we have the second part to our collegiate episode season. So it's just two parts. Last week, we had Coach Dex on, who talked all things health, wellness, and how that fits into the overall student at the university level, but also the high school level. But this week, we have Brandon Porter, who is a
registrar.
I can't say that word.
Registrar.
Yeah. And he works at the collegiate level too. And we talk a little bit about, what did we talk about?
We talked about what you need in order to enroll in college.
In college.
He talked about the steps that he takes with the students and his role in their college career.
Yeah.
And as someone who never went to big boy college.
Same. Yeah.
I was really curious because I know I was super anxious about anything college.
Yeah, me too.
And he's I learned a lot from him.
Yeah.
I think that was all stuff that if I would have heard that as a high schooler, I would have felt a lot more relieved.
Yeah, me too. So this is a great episode, not just for parents, but also anyone who has any questions about what that looks like, going to college, getting into college. We didn't, unfortunately, get into too much of the financial side of things, but we do talk about it a little bit. So Stay tuned, listen to the episode, and enjoy his voice. He's got a great voice. All right. Y'all be good.
Or be good at it.
Bye.
Let's go.
Brandon, man, thanks.
Yeah.
Hanging out.
Absolutely.
We joked when you were in the other day that your voice would definitely be so much better than mine. So I think you're just going to run the whole podcast.
It might be. The name might change after this episode.
What would it change to?
Oh, you know what? It might have to change the crazy cat guy or something like that.
Yeah.
It might have to do something.
Bro,
like
4 cats is a bit. It's a little bit much.
It's a little wild.
Yeah.
It's a little wild.
It's all
2
right.
little ones with 4 cats. It's a little wild.
We won't hold it against you though.
Yeah.
You feel good? You feel level sound all right for you?
Yeah.
It's not too.
Yep. I hear you all
overbearing. Awesome.
clearly. Do you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay.
Super well.
Good.
I'm going to give you a book and you could just read
Just
us.
read it?
Yeah, just read us the phone book.
That may have to be a late career transition, narrator.
I think you could, dude.
Children's book narrator or something like that. I might have to go that route.
Well, I told you when we first met, you look like a guy that I follow on Instagram.
Yeah.
Can't remember his name now, but he does
Okay.
voiceover for like actual cinematic movies.
Yeah.
And he's also a singer. He's he's got like a quartet kind of Boyz II Men vibe thing.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But he does it kind of full time.
Okay.
Really, really cool. I dabbled in it a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Closest I got, what did I get? I did a video voiceover for Encyclopedia Britannica.
Wow.
But I did it. They paid me for it.
Yeah.
But I don't think they used it because I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those like gig websites.
Yeah.
They're like, this guy's got a great voice.
Okay.
But I was terrible at reading it.
Yeah.
So I don't think they use it.
Gotcha.
Anyway.
You got the experience.
Well, thanks for being here, man.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. You're married?
Yep. Married. July 11th, made 10 years married. Yeah, 2 kids, a boy and a girl. My son, Ben, is 3 years old, and my daughter, Aaliyah, is 4 months.
Yeah, she's brand new.
Brand new. A young household
We
right
just
now.
saw her.
Yeah.
Yesterday?
Yeah,
too?
yesterday.
Yeah, she's so cute.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, she's great. And my son Ben loves being a big brother.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just so he's been really good. Sometimes a little too much. He loves her a little too much where we gotta, she's not ready to play yet.
That love aggression.
Yeah, the love aggression. I think that's a great word.
Yeah,
for
love
it.
aggression.
Great term for it. So Married, 2 kids, live here in Kenosha. You know, I've been here since 2016. Love the city.
From the Illinois area?
From the Illinois area, yeah, right outside of Chicago suburbs.
Nice, man.
So
Like an actual suburb?
yes,
Okay.
yep, Palatine,
Okay,
Illinois.
okay.
Yep. So we were living there for a little bit, and so we moved up here in 2016 and have been here since. Have loved the city. I've primarily been in higher education throughout my whole professional career. So worked with college age young adult students my whole life, for the most part, professional life, and have enjoyed it a lot. So and now just excited to continue to grow here, build our family, see what happens with the city in the next few years. They're developing a lot in our city, so excited about that.
Yeah, we just talked a little bit about how the city of Kenosha is sort of investing a lot into, I'd say, education, or because there's that whole kind of block in the middle of town.
Yeah.
That's going to be all kind of redone, right? You were mentioning something about that?
Absolutely, yeah. There's like a innovation neighborhood that they're creating.
That's cool.
With one of the technical schools, high schools that they have, and it's going to be kind of built out for the community. And we're kind of excited to see what that'll look like, as my kids are obviously young, but, with that on the mind of what things could look like in 10 years or so, or for them, or even 5 years for them. It's exciting to kind of see what the city will do with that, as well as the downtown area, they're trying to beef that up with more entertainment and, housing and restaurants. So I think it's about time for the city to kind of get that lift.
Sure.
So I'm excited to see what kind of happens with that.
Yeah, I think we are too, especially, those of us who have been in the city for a while now. It's kind of, it's cool to see. It makes you a little nervous, right? Because change has changed.
Yeah, change
but I
has
think it's
changed,
changed for good. Yeah, for sure.
No, I'm excited.
You're not from here. You're not from here. I'm born and bred. I left for a long time. Yeah.
I was hanging out here
That's
while
true.
you were
Where
in
you were out.
college.
Yeah.
So,
You kept it. You kept it down.
Yeah. For sure. How long have you been here, Heather?
I moved here 2018.
Okay.
Like literally the first day I was in my apartment.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
So not too long, but then I didn't start working until 2022, so I didn't really get to enjoy the area up until just recently.
Okay.
Because now I can actually do that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's been really fun.
Good.
There's a lot going on all the time.
All the time. Yep.
And I love when people, so where I used to work, they used to send out a magazine and it was for the Chicagoland area.
Okay.
And it was like all these different things and events that were going on for families.
Yep.
And so every time someone asked us the other day, like, where's the park with sand? And so we were trying to figure that out. But also I was like, oh, there's so many other things you can do down there too. Like
100%.
the trolley.
Yeah.
That's so much fun. The kids like that when I took my niece and nephew on there.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's always fun things to do down
Yeah,
there. Like today there was
absolutely.
an art show.
Yeah. There's pop-up concerts and beer gardens and
Well,
all
there's
sorts of
Drinking
things.
for Jesus has a car show today.
Oh.
wow.
Over
Okay.
at St. Therese.
Okay.
I call it Drinking for
I was
Jesus.
going to say, that's not what it's really called, is it?
No, I wasn't sure.
But
I mean, that's the way to get it.
People in, yeah.
For those of you listening who aren't from the area, the big Catholic churches in our area, because we're in the heart of the Midwest, basically, they do these big outdoor festivals, and they're just like 3-day festivals with all kinds of fun stuff. Actually, they're really cool. But the one over on the south side of town, they have a huge car show every year, and we saw them. I went out for a run this morning with my boys, and there was just lines of cars going that way. It looked really cool.
Nice.
Really nice. So how long have you worked in higher education?
I've been working in higher education. I think this is year 11.
Okay.
Year 11.
Yeah.
Yep. And it spanned Illinois and to now Wisconsin.
Okay.
As well. So, and that's gone from, on the front end with admissions and now advising and registration. So it's, I've seen students in all different kind of areas, and then worked in obviously a couple different other facets of the various institutions I've been at. So it's been fun. It's a journey. I think the thing that I like the most about it is every year, every class, every group of students provides a new challenge and a new kind of personality.
Sure.
So you're kind of working to figure out how you can best serve this new group of students. So it keeps you on your toes.
Yeah,
there's never a dull moment at all. all.
It's a good thing you're young, man. You know?
Wait, how old are you?
I'm 33.
Okay.
Younger.
Younger.
Younger
You're
than
not-
us.
Oh,
Yeah.
do they make you feel old yet?
Not entirely yet.
No.
I think I can still relate to some of the things.
Yeah.
Some of the things. Whether that might be sports or music or a shirt they're wearing. Some of it is sometimes they might be wearing a shirt where I'm like, I remember when that band, that group's album first came out when I was 12. Like I remember that.
Yes.
So, and they may not understand the context of that, but I'm like, all right, maybe I can relate with you off of that.
Yes.
So not entirely. The students don't get me there yet, but I'm sure at some point soon I'm gonna reach that status.
Yes.
I feel like I'm getting there.
Yeah.
I'm very close to just being the old curmudgeon on the front lawn yelling at children.
Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn, you whippersnappers. And I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I really am. Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Your wife's name, Amy?
Emily.
Emily. I'm sorry.
No, all good.
I will cut that out. I will fix that
All
because
good.
I know Emily's name, of course.
It's all good.
Wife Emily, she works at the high school level, right?
Yeah, she
And
works at
you're
the
in
high school level.
collegiate level.
Yep.
That's a nice little pairing, man. 'Cause
Yeah.
she sets them up. You
Yeah.
bat them out of the park.
Yeah.
It's kind of ready to go.
Absolutely. Yeah. We get a good chance to talk about trends and what we see, with at each other's schools and just in general within the education industry, education in Wisconsin. We get a good opportunity to kind of chat about that. And, we have some shared colleagues as well, which is also really cool as well. So we get a lot of different types of perspectives. And I think that's another thing that I enjoy about working in education is the perspectives. Not only do we have a different group of students every year that come in and want to be served, but they all are unique and come from different backgrounds, obviously. But having people directly in your life that also work in education with a different perspective,
That's huge.
It is.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why it kind of keeps you on your toes, because you're always learning something new.
Does she teach?
She does teach.
Okay.
Yep. So she's a teacher.
Like straight up in that.
In the classroom,
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely, yep. So she's a teacher, so she gets to see the students up close and work pretty closely with them work wise and everything and development as well, and then kind of see their transition as they go through high school and then get to us. Yeah.
So you've been in this, you said, for about 7 years now, kind of doing the thing.
Yep.
One of the things I wanted to ask was over the last 5 to 10 years, right? We talked about it a little bit. There's been a shift in the readiness of these new batch of collegiate level students.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Can you expound a little bit on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there's a lot of trends that data taken over the last, like you mentioned, 5 to 10 years of just students and their preparedness of going into college. And I think a lot of the students that are college age now, unfortunately, all were impacted, just like we all were in some way, by COVID.
Yeah.
COVID was a huge thing. Obviously, we know how big that was. But at some point, whether it was middle school or high school, they had at least a year and a half, maybe 2 years of not complete in-person work.
Yeah.
And a lot of them miss some of that social development. And then, as you understand, as you kind of get older, that takes a toll sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think that is one thing that, you'll see with some of the trends or that we've noticed is some of that type of struggle or challenge. And I think what you try to do is you try to meet the students where they are. So you try to offer services or programs and things of that nature. And I think that one thing that I always think about for students, for them to be prepared, is doing any sort of kind of professional development as early as possible. I don't think it's ever too early to shadow or do an internship or go on college visits and just kind of see how things are and what it feels like and what it looks like. Everything looks so big, on a college campus. But if you go there, go to a few of them, you kind of feel a little comfortable. There's a main building, there's a cafeteria, there's some dorm buildings.
Yeah.
They all kind of have the same type of layout. So I think those are definitely ways students can kind of go about being more prepared on that end. But I think the biggest thing, which maybe have existed, definitely existed before COVID, but I think it's just exacerbated, is the transition in general of I'm going from a place where I was in school from 7 to 3 every day, and then I'm going to a place where I might have class only 2 days a week.
Sure.
So what am I supposed to do for those other 3 days where I don't have class at all?
Interesting. Okay.
You know, so that's a huge kind of transition.
Yeah.
That
a life transition.
that's a life transition,
Yeah.
you know, and I don't know if there's a number of ways that can prepare you for that,
Mm-hmm.
but I do think that the more that you can put yourself out there, the more that you can see college, the more you can talk about it, the more that you can do some sort of professional have professional experiences. I think that can help you with some of those softer skills of learning of how to navigate and being prepared and organized as well. So I think that's probably the biggest thing that I see at the collegiate level is that transition of the life skill transition, that life transition that is hard to prepare for in a classroom.
I wouldn't even have thought of that.
Well, I remember asking, because we were trying to hire a receptionist, so I kind of posted on my Facebook like, "Hey, parents, do your kids have jobs? Like your high school age kids?
Yep.
And if they don't, why?"
Yep.
And you know, some of them were like, "No, they're too busy."
Sure.
And then some of them were like, "I want to protect them from that world." And
interesting.
I like either from the people, because retail sucks. Everybody knows it. And but I've always had an issue with that. I've worked forever.
Yeah, same.
And so it's like you learn so much from
Absolutely.
working with people, working under people, trying to figure out how to, like, I remember my first job where I had to talk on the intercom.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do it.
Absolutely.
I hated it.
Yep.
And it took me a minute, but you know, eventually you get it. And the same thing
Absolutely.
with answering the phone. Like you have your script and you have your whatever, but like it's hard to, you know, just jump into that.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
or like you said, keeping yourself busy and on track. Like
Yep.
what are the things that I'm going to do in between taking care of one client or one customer
Yep.
that'll not disrupt what I'm doing and still keep the flow going.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you hit it right on of, you know, trying to work as much as you can because it helps you get a routine. And I think that's the hard part of it. I mean, I still remember when I was going into college as well, I think I worked every single day and, you know, we had homework, right? You do all of that in high school, but it allowed me to build a routine for myself. Of,
Sure.
Going to school, doing my homework, going to work, you know, you kind of after a while, and then you get into college and that's not such a shock because the time off or the extra time that you might have, you already were figuring out a routine or had a routine.
Yeah.
So now you're just trying to translate that or mold it to fit the new environment you're in.
How involved were your parents? Were they like helicopter parents or were they like school first parents or you'll figure it out or if you don't ask me a question I won't bother you?
Good question. I think so for me in college I was a first gen student, so they were very much like kind of got to figure this one out on your own. I don't really know what form you need to fill out, or I can help you fill out the FAFSA, but that's about it because you need my social and my income numbers. But other, you know, application, letters of rec, you know, you registering for your own classes, setting up tour, like you kind of got to do that yourself because we've never done that. And you know, they were kind of like that, but they, you know, on the social aspect, they were very hardworking. My dad still has 3 jobs, had 3 jobs when I was, for as long as I can remember, still has 3 jobs. So I learned that pretty early from him. And I think I realized too I could kind of buy whatever I wanted if I just worked. So I think
hard enough,
if I worked hard, And I think the biggest thing when I was in high school was, you know, I wanted an iPod Touch. That was like the screen,
yes.
you know, it was like the new thing. And like, you know, so he was like, yeah, all right, I can help you, you know, find a job or whatever. And I worked and that kind of helped. So he was involved in that regard. But when, you know, on the academic side and going into college, they were very little hands off and kind of like, you kind of have to learn this on your own, you know, but because I had been working and I had developed a routine, I wasn't too afraid to then shift and do that transition. It was still a struggle. It was hard. It was challenging, as it is for every student. But I think that kind of transition has been exacerbated over the last 5 to 10 years. And I think that's part of why students may come in and struggle is because that routine, that kind of disruption of going from one structure to another one so quickly, there's not a lot that can prepare you for it. But when you are prepared for it, you usually are able to kind of get your footing pretty quickly and be successful that first year. That first year is really important, you know, when you're going to college, because obviously it sets the tone for a lot of students the rest of the way.
I'm remembering, trying to phrase this delicately. I saw a post of someone I know on social media, and he's basically talking about his sports loving kiddo, that they will not have a job. Their job is to train. Their job is to like go into this sport, blah, blah, blah. And then I think of the other side of it now that I'm talking to you and kind of thinking through this. There are stats of, man, I hope your kid gets into that pro league. Yeah. But the big, it's a lot more likely they will not.
Correct.
And that's not a shade thing.
No.
It's are we setting up our kids for their best, setting them up for success?
Sure.
At every possible turn.
Sure.
Man, that's a rough one because you want to do the best for your kiddo.
Absolutely. Man. And you want to support them in whatever they...
in their dream.
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't want to crush their dream, and say like there's a 1 in 500,000 chance that you're going to... But it's true. Yeah, it's true. I mean, you think about just... I'm a huge sports guy. I'm a big sports fan of football, baseball, basketball. I watch college to professional.
That makes one of us.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm happy to teach you all about anything, anything like that. But yeah, I hear all the stats. I think when I watch college sports, they have this great. The NCAA has this great commercial about college athletes and about how many of them are going professional in something other than sports, right? That many of them go to the Olympics, right? They can do that, but some of them are going to be neurosurgeons. Some of them are going to go to the military. Sure. Some of them are going to be teachers, right? And they have this great stat. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but they mention it on the commercial. And that just puts in perspective of, man, all of these thousands and thousands of Division I athletes, they go to these huge schools like University of Texas, or, LSU or wherever it may be. And even some of them are still going to go and be a pilot
or HVAC.
Yeah, 100%. And not even some, most of them will go do that as well. So I think that the thing that I always am big on is you got to have a plan. Whatever, you don't have to follow the trend. You don't have to do this or do that, but you need to have a plan. And I think that putting all the eggs in one basket is really tough to do, especially in that basket. Sure. It's hard to break through. And like you said, we hope that your student can, do that and be that one from this area that makes it through.
Yeah,
and,
sure.
That's awesome.
And the stories are there. I mean, we see the stories. I mean, there's kiddos that have graduated through the KUST system
100%.
who are doing it.
Yep.
But it's one every 5 years.
It's hard.
Like it's one.
Yep.
I had that conversation with my cousin's kiddo, my cousin's son, big into football.
Sure.
But before I even knew that he was as good as he is, I was talking to my cousin. I'm like, so is he? Because they really put a lot of time and effort into him, travel leagues and that kind of thing.
Yep.
And I was like, so is he good, or is he like you're gonna have to break his heart someday? And then I come to find out he's great. He's really good.
Great.
And we're hoping, hoping for the best. But at the same time, you're wondering like, where do we go with this?
Yeah.
Finding that balance of it's not that big of a deal. Have fun with it. Versus you're my winner no matter what.
Yes.
That's literally. I was watching Bob's Burgers last night. And we had that episode where Tina's doing free throws?
Yes.
Yep. And Bob goes in there and he's like, it's not that big of a deal. No one really cares. I mean, they do care.
Yeah.
You should care. I care. But it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
To Linda saying, like, you're going to do great. You're going to get all 25 shots. You are awesome.
100%.
And they both have this idea of like how they ruined their child.
Yeah. Yep, of whatever that message is.
Sure.
And obviously it's somewhere in between there where the truth is of like what the reality is of the situation. But yeah, that's really hard. And I have a nephew that's like that. That's plays basketball. My dad sent me some videos of him, and I was like, "Dang, he's good. He's good. Like he's actually like good."
Sure.
But again, there's certain levels, right? There's like being good, and then there's being collegiate good, and then there's being professional good.
Listen, the only thing I know is Bronny is good.
Yes,
but he could be great. Yeah, he's not great.
Is he NBA starter? Yeah. Great.
That's unfortunate too, because in that way, LeBron James' son now plays in the NBA. Some people claim nepotism. Some people claim a little bit of daddy helped. And he's good. He's a great player. But you get into that balance of,
Thank you for explaining that. Because as soon as you said Bronny, I was like,
who?
A brony? That's how you pronounce it? A brony?
Jabroni. No. But yeah, it's tough, man, because I think about it as a parent. Like I look at my son, and to have that conversation.
Sure.
We talked about it once. I had that conversation with my dad once. It was the only time that we had an actual real argument. It was, I wanted to focus on music. Music was always passion in my life.
Sure.
And luckily I did go into it professionally in some way. But at the time I was leaving high school. I wanted to do a gap year with me and my buddy, try and get some music off the ground.
Sure.
Now looking back, it was a lot easier. We should have done it back then.
Okay.
Now it's like so hard, right?
Yeah.
Social media, social interests, whatever you want to call it, has really inundated that. But even on the athlete side, but I do remember that my dad saying, no, I don't work this hard. I didn't struggle this hard, immigrate here for you to just not go to college.
Sure.
Because at the time, his big thing is college is the only way. I don't know necessarily if I would absolutely profess that now.
Sure.
Me, particularly. But yeah, it's tough when you look at your son in the face and you're like, no, your dream is not what you think it is. And I hope, the kiddo proves their parent wrong. I do root for the underdog.
Absolutely.
It's tough, man.
Yeah, I know.
So, sorry, that was a lot of into the weeds type thing. We did talk about college readiness on the academic level.
Sure.
Walk me through that, because you're seeing it on both ends with Emily in high school. You in sorry, we should have started with this registrar. Sorry. Is that just the person who does the registering?
Yep. So that term it essentially encapsulates the registration process for students. So our whole office, assists with students with registration and from that to graduation to a number of different advising help in some ways.
So you see the student as a whole on paper before they kind of come in the doors.
Gotcha. Absolutely. Yep. And on the academic side, I think that I think, as I mentioned earlier, COVID had a huge part in some of the readiness and preparedness for students, and that shifted lots of ways that you do instruction as well, with virtual things, and I think that plays a role and probably had played a big role in just kind of students being prepared on the academic end with going into college, because once you then take a student from a virtual year or couple years and then you plop them in, like, now you got a roommate. Now you got to go to class, and now you're in this, and then your building is on this side of campus, right? It's just like a huge shift for that. And while there were some aspects of things that were virtual or adjusted, a lot of the rigor of college stayed the same. So while there were some adjustments in some areas outside of college, when you get to college, the rigor of it still stays the same. So while there might be students that did really well at the high school level, kind of getting through COVID and kind of finishing, I could see why, some of them may have struggled initially because the rigor of the collegiate level didn't change with any of the adjustments that were made in non-collegiate areas. So, and I think that was part of it. But, outside of that, I think it's just kind of in general, a trend. And I guess I don't know of any one thing or any one area to point to say like why students may not be as prepared academically at this point in time. But it's definitely a trend that you would see, with them kind of getting going into college and then kind of sticking it out and going all the way through.
Sorry to interrupt. You were saying that they're like rough numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you see kiddos coming in with some really low GPAs and like that kind of thing. That's a little concerning.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yep. So I think that you see some students sometimes with things that are concerning is a good word for it. But I think you get an opportunity to get a chance to get to know some of the students as well, as they're coming in too. And I think that you get the holistic picture, right? Like, GPAs and test scores are obviously tell one part of the story, and I think that that's the benefit and the privilege of working in higher education and working with so many different types of students and in an area where you're kind of involved in a lot of different aspects of their education. You get a chance to actually see them and meet with them and and chat with them and kind of see what they're about, their makeup and where they're from and kind of what their aspirations are. You get the holistic picture with them. Yeah.
So my parents are liars. Grades aren't everything.
Grades are important for sure.
Oh, yeah,
They're absolutely important. But I think that a lot of the times we look at students a holistic view of students and try to get their whole makeup of kind of what they're about and trying to get to know them and help them figure out is this the right place for them, and can we serve them in the way that they want and need to be served. I think that's the biggest thing. So so we see some things on that end, and there's a number of programs and things that we have in place that help assist to try to help make sure the students can get the experience that they need and can reach that end goal, because a lot of them, their goal, and not to be a quarterback or a football player, it's to be a doctor or to be a social worker or to be a teacher or whatever that may be. So it's like, all right, what can we do to kind of help you stay on that path and get you prepared for that?
Do you see a trend, like when you're looking at things? Do you have like certain majors that you're looking at only? Like in your office, do you guys separate it by who's looking for what program in your school, or do you just see everybody?
Oh yeah, so we see everybody
Okay.
in my office, and we see everybody with and we assist all of them. And I think in our state, nursing is huge, and I think that might just be countrywide, but in Wisconsin, there's a huge push for more nurses.
Because they're dropping like flies.
Yeah,
I'm married to one.
Okay, yeah. So you know it firsthand. There's a big shortage, and the state has a lot of initiatives for individual students to go in the field. So nursing's huge, and we have a great nursing program, and but we also see students that we have majors all the way to theater, all the way to music and music education, but engineering, right? So we see a lot of STEM as well. So we get to, in our office, and again, like I mentioned, that's the great thing about working in our office, is that we get to work with all different types of other offices, but all different types of students. And, like I said, you're always on your toes, because one student with this major will come in with this question or challenge, and then a completely different major student comes in, and so you have to change your entire mindset, and curriculum is different for all of them. So they definitely present their own challenges for us as far as trying to help them solve and get through. But it definitely is rewarding for sure. I think that our sole goal is to always, how can we just help solve any issue that they have and help serve them the best way we can, so they walk out with an answer. They walk out with feeling like, okay, I have some options of, if I come in with a situation, I have some options.
So I went to community college and then dropped out really quick. And I never had like a college experience. I don't remember talking to a counselor or a registrar or anything. So when let's say I was going to go to your college, or I was interested in your college.
Sure.
What would I need to know or bring with me in order to properly give you information about myself?
Yeah, usually the biggest thing is, so, transcripts of, whatever grades that you had, is helpful to have that kind of at an initial type of kind of meeting. But I think realistically, a goal or idea of what you wanted to do, I think is big. And, for students that are 18, it's a little bit of a challenge to ask them to come in. And a lot of them come in with ideas, right? Sure. I want to go into nursing, or I want to do X, Y, Z. But, at 18, you think back to when you were 18 of like, did you have everything figured out? When I was 18, I wanted to go into sports journalism. Nice. And I don't do that at all right now. So,
not yet.
Not yet. That's right. That's true.
Podcast coming soon.
Yeah, there you go. But, it's definitely a challenge. And I think there's, stats out there of, this collegiate class that just recently graduated, that on average they're going to change their job, their career 4 to 5 times, at least 4 to 5 times. And gone are the days that you go somewhere, you work there for 25 years, and that's just the norm expected. That just doesn't happen anymore. So I would say, coming in with some idea, general interest ideas of what you might be interested in, is helpful. As I mentioned, transcripts, and then kind of just like what your idea of your college experience would look like. Of, I want to be involved in clubs. I want to maybe I want to do continue doing theater work from when I was in high school. I acted, and I want to maybe try to do that, or I want to volunteer. Right. So what do you envision college, your experience, to be like? And I think that having that type of idea, some general interest of like, I kind of like the health field, I kind of like this area, that area, right? And that allows us on the collegiate level to help narrow things down for you to kind of go like, what, maybe you should look into these majors. I can get you connected with a faculty member in this area. They can kind of tell you a little bit about careers or things of that nature. And, it's hard to, I think, one thing I try to chat with students about is kind of obviously knowing what your career is huge, what you want to do, but find something that you enjoy. Find something that you don't like. You like the classes, like you like going to these classes. I think that let's start there. You like going to these classes, and then you like learning the content, and then we can build upon what that means career wise. Some of them are a little more stringent, right? Like you want to be a doctor, you're going to take biology and chemistry. Like that's just, you're going to have to like that. Yeah. But, but some that are not as, on a straightened path like that, it's like, find something that you like, find some areas, some classes that you like, some instructors that you like, that makes a big difference as well, instructors, and, you have those great teachers that you have. So, so having some general interest of what you're interested in, general idea of what you want your college experience to be like, and then, get us a list of kind of some of the classes you've taken, some of the grades you've gotten. I think that kind of gives us a picture of like who you are and kind of what you want. And then gives us the ability to think about how can we serve you? How can we provide an experience that would be suitable for what you're looking for?
Can I ask a question?
No.
Sorry. No. I don't know why I said, can I ask a question?
It's your show.
I meant more, can I ask a touchy question? DACA.
Mm-hmm.
Are we seeing any of that kind of thing for, maybe first gen immigrants? Like, do you see any of that? Is DACA still, sorry for my ignorance, I should probably know this, but is it still, are you seeing any of that stuff?
Yeah, on our side, we don't see a lot with undocumented students as far as how they're presented to us. Okay. Whoever walks through the door, we help. And that's like that at our school in any office. But I do know that we do have programs for students, whatever may exist through the government that's allowed and what we're able to do on a collegiate campus. We do have programs. We also have student groups for Latino students, Latin students to be a part of, as well as African American students and Asian students, LGBT as well. So I think that there are still programs that exist at our institution, but on a whole, I don't think that we see. We're not presented in a way of like, this is a student that's a part of the DACA program or anything like that. I think we on our end, it's more so of you're here and you need help with registration, or you have a question about your major, come on
Let's
in.
Let's
figure it out. Yeah.
What is DACA?
Sheesh. Google. Dang it. I should have known this, but I don't. DACA is a program that was instituted, I believe, under the Obama administration for undocumented immigrants to seek university, college level education. And it also, I believe it aided with their path to residency and citizenship.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So I believe the program still exists in some fashion, and but on our end, it's a little more general as far as who we see and how they come into our office for assistance. Yeah. Yeah.
You guys have a paleontology department, don't you?
We do. Yeah. Yes. We have a partnership with the Dinosaur Museum here downtown Kenosha, which is really cool. And it's something I recently, found out about. And I think that it's really fun to kind of be a part of that. Especially with stuff like Jurassic Park coming out, and
well, and you've got a 3-year-old boy right
absolutely.
now.
Yep.
Well, just a 3-year-old, because dinosaurs are freaking cool.
3 or 13.
Yeah. We call them three-nagers.
Yeah,
three-nager.
Well, yeah, but he's got an actual 13-year-old who's still dinosaur man.
Yeah.
Man, he's wanted to be a paleontologist since he was like 6.
Yep.
We probably exposed him to the first Jurassic Park movie too
Too
early.
Yeah.
But he fell in love, man. He knows it might have a little bit to do with autism in there.
Yeah.
But he knows every dinosaur by name. He knows what era they're from, all that stuff. And I honestly don't think I've told him that one of the local schools here have a paleontology department.
Yeah,
I need to,
for sure.
I need to start steering him that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's really fun, and like I said, to be a part of something with the city and everything like that, to have something so unique and cool that a lot of kids like is really fun. Yeah. Yep.
So, what advice would you give parents who are starting to talk to their children about college?
Yeah, I think that some advice I would give would be to kind of let your student dictate where you look and what they look for. I think that, my biggest fear is always like pressuring my son to ever do something that I'm like, I think you'd be really good at that. Sure. And he's like, I hate that. And I'm like, yeah, but you need to go to this school and do this because I think you'd be good at it. So that's like the last thing I would want to do. And so I always would hope that parents allow their students to kind of lead that charge of, I want to go look at these 5 schools because they have 5 different programs that I like. Mm-hmm. Hey, that's cool. You're going to figure out one of them is, interesting enough that for you to choose that school. One of those programs is interesting enough. And there's a lot of overlap too with schools, with programs as well. So let your student dictate that charge of like finding the places to go and what to look for. So obviously support them in every turn. And I would say try to be involved as much as you can. Still allow them to take the lead. But I think it's important for parents to be involved. And I mean that from the like beginning of applying with your admission counselor to like, hey, I think it's a good thing to know like what degree requirements your student has. Like, I think that's a good thing to know that they, have to complete 100 credits and they can graduate in 4 years and they're going to do a minor in this. Okay, cool. You get to take some of these classes. You have the option to add on this type of. I think that there's nothing wrong with that at all. And I encourage parents to be involved in that level. But I think having the students still take the charge of like going to ask the questions and getting help and assistance. I think that's I would still say that's probably the most appropriate.
I'm going to say parent involvement to an extent.
Yeah. That's what I'm getting at.
I'm sure there might be a little bit of my son needs this now.
Have you ever had a parent come in and the kid's just like
Sure, that happens. Yeah, that happens for sure. Yeah, and
do you know who I am?
Right. And in my head, I'm always like, I don't ever want to be that for my son.
Sure.
And the good thing is, working in higher education, I'll have a unique enough perspective for him to kind of help guide him in some ways. But I'm still going to allow him to take the lead. And we got a long time for that. But I would say, to an extent, I think it's good to be involved and good to know what they're up to and what they're doing and what they have to complete for their degree requirements. So you have just some loose idea, general idea of like, I think, that sounds good. Or I'm pretty sure they told us last year that you have to do this. Did you check with your advisor on that? Right. I think that's a healthy.
That's 100% the healthiest.
Yeah, for sure. And so I would say letting them lead the charge with where they're going to look, what they're going to do, being involved to an extent with understanding whatever program or curriculum they have to complete. And I think it's also helpful for parents to go to the family events on campus, get to know some other parents, because you're going to find other parents that are from the same area as you. And you're going to go, whoa, your student goes here as well? Like, I had no idea. Or oh, you work at so-and-so? Like, oh, I go there all the time, right? Sure. So I always tell parents that too. Go to the family homecoming weekends. Go to the plays that your student is in. Try to get to those, or the music recitals that they have, the concerts or the Christmas fests or whatever that may be. Go to those events as much as you can, because that'll help you feel like you're a part of the journey with them, and you're not so distant. And it's not like oh wow, you're already graduating. It's more of a like, man, you're graduating in a year, and it's been a huge success. Sure. And so try to be as involved in some of those like social things that are for parents, but also that your student may be involved in. I think that'll help them feel a little more part of the journey. Not that maybe they don't do that now, but I think that is one thing of that I see. That as far as like parents trying to understand or learn more about their students' experience, it's like, we have a lot of programs for parents so they can be involved in with the journey, so it doesn't feel so disconnected. Yeah, because they're, depending on where they go, they can be pretty far away, and I understand that too. So you can't always get down there for events, but if you're close enough that you can drive, maybe it's an hour or so. You're carpool
with the person that you met at the
there
last
you go.
function.
There you go. Right. So it's like, definitely try to make it out a couple times a year at least. They're going to come home for holiday breaks and all that type of stuff, but to see them in their element, your student in their element on campus with their friends, hanging out or doing something, I think it's just different.
Sure.
So I think that is even as working with the students, we see them in our office, but I'll go to a basketball game and I'm like, man, look at you. Like, that's so awesome. Like you just made a 3-pointer or whatever it is. Or I went to Christmas Fest, and I'll see them playing like the cello or something. It's like, I had no idea you did that. That's amazing. So yeah, we I would say those are definitely some tips I would give the parents that are kind of entering that stage with their student.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when they're registered and they're all done with basically enrolling, do they come back to you at all for anything?
Yeah, they definitely students definitely come back and get assistance with us. Maybe they want to change their major, and we help them through that process. Maybe they want to switch a class and say like, I went to this class, don't really enjoy it, I want to try to find something new. Right, we help them with that, but we also see them on the graduation end too. So we process out all the students for graduation. We hand out diplomas to them on stage, at the ceremony. So it's really fun. We get to see them at the beginning when they're just coming in, and then randomly throughout the years, and then I get to see them at the end for graduation to then say like, man, I remember when you came in and you were nervous and you had no idea what you wanted to do with your life, and look at you now, like you're graduating, you made it through. Sure. Your parents are here, your family's here. It's exciting. So they do come in pretty often in our office, and we, like I said, we assist them all with a number of different things that they have questions about, or we kind of refer them to other offices if the other offices or departments can better serve them for the question they have. But it's really fulfilling, because it really is kind of full circle for us to see them at the beginning and then also at the end, and then we kind of do it all over again every year and kind of go from there. Yeah.
Do you have any kiddos that stand out in your mind right now that day one was, bro, I don't know if you're gonna make it?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that there are definitely some students that I can remember that that came in really nervous and really high strung about like everything has to be perfect. Like I need to change this class because I need to then be able to go to lunch here. And then I need to take this class because then I have practice from 4 to 6. And then after that, I can't have a night class because, right, just like everything to a T. Yeah. And then, you know, a year or two from that point, I, you know, a couple of them that I can think of ended up changing, you know, their program a couple times, right? Where I'm like, see, you know, you have it works out. You have this idea of like the perfect experience and it was going to be this perfect. And then you change your program and then you change it again. And then now you're on a great path and you're still going to graduate in 4 years, right? Like all that type of stuff. So there's definitely a couple of those where, you know, because we talk about, right, the advice I said of give me your idea of your college experience. Well, some of them come in with like, I can only take class at this time and I want this to be this and I'm going to participate in this sport. I'm going to do this club. Like they have that in their mind. And then sometimes things are just different, right? You get in and you experience something and you go, I don't really like that, or I want to try something new, or you know, I had a change of heart with this particular thing. So I think sometimes they come in with certain ideas, but that's what college is for. It's to help you kind of get through that process and figure out who you are, but what you like, and what you would feel comfortable with doing, you know, for the foreseeable future. And then, you know, once you do that after a while, you kind of have that reassessment, that personal reassessment, and then figure out what you want to do from there.
Nice.
Yeah. Yep.
We're kind of winding down, but just quickly, with Emily's view in high school and going back to that, just a quick maybe encouragement to the families that are of maybe teens looking at high school, well, from high school into the collegiate level, just a quick bit of advice, like if it feels overwhelming, what's a good place to start? Do they have to start? You said it's always nice to start a little bit early, right? Maybe even freshman year thinking.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. So I would say freshman, sophomore year of high school, I think it's a great opportunity to visit some colleges, but also even getting started, we talked about working in general, anywhere where you can maybe work with, you know, other customers, learn some soft customer service skill, answering the phone, sending emails, just greeting people, of just kind of asking them how their day is. I mean, those are the littlest things, but they make a huge difference, and they're transferable amongst careers. So I think doing the little things like that, I think, is important. But, you know, on the academic side and kind of thinking about the collegiate side, I definitely think that visiting, you know, doing some of the school trips. I know a lot of high schools do school trips where they'll take a day or a half day and they'll take some students to different colleges in the area, whether that may be over Christmas break or, you know, whatever, spring break, you know, so I think that's definitely a huge thing to take advantage of, because trust me, while I was a first gen student, I also dragged my feet huge as well, and I didn't apply to college until the spring of my senior year in high school. I was that kid of just I guess I'm going. I guess I'm doing it, right? So it's one of those things where my dad was like, you got to figure something out. What are you doing? So I did that. So I would definitely say getting started early on is definitely a good thing. It can never hurt at all. And you know, like I said, if they have a job, trying to do something where they can learn some of those transferable soft skills, I think that'll help them with even talking to professionals at the collegiate level. You go into an office and you need help. How do you go talk to an adult about help, about something that you don't really know what you're asking about, but somebody's down there told you to go ask them about this, right? It's kind of scary for an 18-year-old that's doing that. Yeah, sure. It's intimidating. So I think some of those soft skills of just walking in and saying, hey, how are you? I had a quick question. I was wondering if you could help me figure this out. Yeah. Something along those lines,
especially
right?
If mom has been doing your laundry for the last
right.
Well,
18 years.
I remember one of my boyfriends, he was going to Parkside and he went in there to ask questions, and when he came out, he was like he didn't get any answers. And I was like, well, what did you ask? Well, I just let her talk.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you have to ask questions.
You have the question. Yeah.
Well, and that's Julia, when she put her first child into school, she was, we were on the phone and she's all nervous and she's like, I don't know what to do. I said, go in there and say, this is the first kid I'm putting through here.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do?
Sure.
And she said that the woman's whole demeanor changed.
Yep.
But I was like, that's all you have to do is be like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Exactly. Yep. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And, I have this thing that I'm trying to figure out. So can you help me? And I think that, learning some of those skills, like I said, it goes a long way and prepares you so you don't feel as nervous or as intimidated. You will always have those moments. But I think the more that you can have experience with that, the better. And I would definitely say that, like I said, the other part of it is kind of letting your student kind of lead the charge of like what they're looking at, where they're looking to go. I think that goes a long way because that gives you the idea too as a parent of like, okay, so that's what you're interested in. Like you're thinking 3 hours away, or you want to stay somewhat close. Okay, that's fine, that's great. And I think that you kind of got to let them kind of do that. Let them do that. I mean, I had a family member that was thinking about going like to Hawaii, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. And then where else are you looking, right? And then that slowly narrowed down to like Chicago area, and I was like, yeah, that's what I thought, right? You're not gonna go to an island, So, and not that would have been a bad thing, but it just was like they had to kind of go through that experience and kind of see for themselves.
Work out the plan.
Yeah, work out the plan, and then they start to narrow things down. And then as a parent, you kind of jump in and support them of like, all right, cool, let's set up a visit, or is your school doing something where they're taking you guys on some school visits, anything like that. So, and then of course, I think that. Internships, that kind of career experience, a lot of that happens at the collegiate level.
Sure.
But if there's ever an opportunity, junior, senior year of high school to kind of, even if that's with your parent, I'm interning with my dad or my mom at their company, and I'm keeping track of data and I'm answering the phone and I'm, entering stuff in spreadsheets. Like, do it.
Yeah.
Do it for a summer for sure. Do it even if you're not getting paid.
Yeah.
Just do it for a summer.
Not even that, man.
Yeah.
Learning how to mop a floor and clean a toilet.
Yeah, absolutely. Transferable.
Yeah.
And then that's, again, talk about life, right? If at some point you're going to be in your dorm room or you're going to be in your own apartment at some point, right? You know how to cook or mop a floor or, clean some stuff really well. Like that's going to serve you really well, way more than you can think about now, as an 18-year-old, 17-year-old, 16-year-old. So it's a huge deal trying to do some of those things that, maybe don't seem as like glamorous or important right now. But they go a long way when you get to the college and then, post-college. Yeah.
I love it, Brandon.
Yeah, this was fun.
Thank you,
This was fun. Yeah, thank you.
I think this is going to be... Yeah, same.
Good.
And I'm so nervous.
Yeah.
Like, I told you I have an 8th grader now, and we'll be staring down the barrel of high school very soon.
Sure.
It just makes, it makes you think. You said, I got time.
Yeah.
You don't have
it
time,
goes.
man.
I know. I did say, I got a lot of time for that. Yeah, I know.
When
it
you
goes
said
fast.
it was like, oh, man. As much as those kids drive me nuts, I love them, man.
Yeah. Yep.
But thank you. I think this is going to be a great resource for families who are thinking about higher education and whatever that looks like, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
If it's military, it's trade school. If it's university level, I mean, we want our kiddos or those that we are in charge of to feel like we're backing them.
Absolutely.
That they're encouraged.
Absolutely. And I think even, going to a community college or a technical college first, great as well. Great resource, great opportunity to again get your hands on some things right away. Figure out what you like. It's less expensive, right? It's cost savings, and then universities like ours, and in surrounding areas take a lot of transfer students coming from a 2-year school that then say, now I want to go on. Maybe I didn't get my associate's degree or I did get it. Now I want to get that bachelor's.
Yeah.
We have a great program to accept a lot of credits, pretty much all your credits. And then a number of schools do too. So that's also another great option for students that maybe are kind of maybe on the fence, or families that are like, not sure if we can afford, 4-year right away, but I still want my student to go to school and they still want to go to school.
Yeah.
Community or technical college is a great option as well.
Well,
great
that's what scared me out of school was literally the cost.
The price.
My mom was very hung up on us being in debt for the rest of our lives.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. It's
but
a big thing.
It was scary too, because like my classes, all my teachers were very much, you're going to go to college. You're going to go to college.
Yep.
And not everybody's ready to go at 18 years old.
Absolutely.
Or 17, depending on what they're graduating. But like, it's not fair to throw someone into that and the amount of responsibility you could feel from taking out that much debt. Especially right now with everything changing again.
Sure.
Like it's changed within the last, 30 years. And then you add on the fact that things are changing for at least the next 3 years.
Yeah, for sure.
So with how loans are doled out or how they're paid back or whatever. So
yeah, it's a big thing. The financial literacy for 18-year-olds and going into college. You know, we could have a whole episode on that.
Yeah.
But that's a huge thing too. And even just for families, first gen families in general. It was definitely a struggle for me, you know, with trying to understand what a subsidized loan and an unsubsidized loan was. Like I would, you know, private loans and Parent Plus loan. I mean, it just, all these things are being thrown at you of ways you can pay. You don't really know what they mean at 18. And, you know, if you have a family or parents or a guardian that's working with you that didn't really know, it's a challenge, you know? So, but I get that. And like I said, I think the community technical college level, I think is great too for students to start off with, families to start off with, if they felt that was necessary.
Well, I remember too, like the overall consensus amongst us as teenagers was like, "Oh, you're not going to an actual school; you're just going to community college." And that really sucks because it's like it does make you feel discouraged. Or even when I went to beauty school, we had that attitude of like, "We're not in college," and I was like, "Well, we are.
We're learning to do a skill, a professional skill." And you're right. And that stigma is hugely unfortunate. And it's gotten better for sure over the year, even just in the 11 years that I've been in higher ed. It's gotten better where, you know, that's not always the case anymore. But, you know, that it is unfortunate. And one thing we always tell students, it is not a bad thing at all. And in fact, it saves, you know, some money, could save you some time as well with graduating. And you still get a chance to take some really great courses and do some great programs. So,
totally.
Yeah, great outcomes as well for that. So definitely an option for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Love it.
Yeah.
Dude, thanks for coming in.
Thank you all for having me. This was fun. This was great.
Yeah.
Hopefully this can help some folks out. Yeah.
Anytime, man.
Yeah.
I think your voice and demeanor, whenever I have to be out, you're gonna fill in. You're gonna be the fill in.
I'm in for it. I'm down to do
let's
it.
do it.
I'm down to do it. Awesome.
Dude, thanks.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you.
Best wishes to the family. We'll
Thank
see you
you
guys soon.
Yeah.
All
See you
right.
all soon. Yeah.
Thank you so
All right.
much.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Well, that's a wrap for today's episode of Y'all Be Good. And as always, a reminder that we are a project of Little Lion Cuts. We hope you've enjoyed these stories just as much as we have enjoyed sharing them. Every family has a story, and we're just grateful that we get to hear yours too. If you've enjoyed today's episode and you think someone else might need to hear it, don't forget to share this podcast with them. And hey, while you're at it, be sure to subscribe and leave us a review. That really does go a long way. You definitely don't want to miss out on any of the real, raw, and inspiring conversations we've got lined up. And we'd love to hear your stories too. So go ahead and find us on Instagram at y'allbegoodpod or drop us a message with your thoughts. And until next time, y'all be good.